Okay, this is my round two. I took a bye in the first round. So let's see what happened here. I'm playing black. I was hoping for a Nemzo Indian, but that's not what this is. And after I researched the computer, the suggestion that I most like is pawn to d6. I almost played that, but I kind of stuck with my basic line. Just some basic opening moves, nothing too drastic here. I really wanted d5, but I also wanted to keep the knight out of e5, so I went with d6. Not too bad. So now you have to determine where the break is going to come. All pieces are developed. I'm thinking my break is going to be at c5. I'm thinking his break is going to be at e4, followed by e5. I got my c5 in first. I felt good about that. He's piling up on e4. I'm trying to decide whether I should exchange at d4. Try to keep the pressure on. I decided to try to keep the pressure on. I don't feel too bad about my position, and according to the analysis I have here, after move 12, yeah, move 11, 12, not doing too bad. Still gives white a very slight advantage. I really can't identify why. So he finally takes the e5. Of course I can exchange that off, but then his bishop will be sitting there. I can push the bishop back without too much worries. Maybe I should have taken that alternative, exchanged off the knights. If he takes with the pawn, I can move my knight out and he will have blocked off his bishop. But I also thought that that would give him, once he moved my knight away, that gives him attacking chances with his bishop, his queen, and his other bishop. So I didn't like that at all. So I decided to cut off that bishop and minimize his attacking choices. And I might even go for an attack myself with the knight at e4 and a potential push at g5. Well, once he took that knight off, that kind of ended that thought. But it also gives my bishop a lot to do. I think he recognized that as well, so he wanted to get rid of that bishop. And I like this position because his queen is off to the side of the board. I see he's threatening my pawn. I could save the pawn, but I want him to actually go for that pawn and see if I can get space and mobility with my rooks in consideration for the pawn. There was one move that I did not see that's coming up, but I also have been looking at Leela, so I'm thinking I'm going to give up pawns for more active pieces. Again, the computer has white as being slightly ahead. They also suggest in this position f6, and that's actually what I played. Now in this position, computer suggests rook f7, which is interesting. You're going for and discovered attack against the queen. I kind of like that. I didn't see that. I'm trying to exchange off those bishops because that did seem to be a strong diagonal for the dark square bishop for white. And if he goes after that pawn, I can either trap his queen or I can get that open D file, sole possession of that open D file. So everything's going fine. Now, I really didn't see this. Well, I saw it, but I didn't do any deep analysis on it. Maybe I should have, because I thought it would still be okay for black going to attack at a5. That was the plan. And he finally took the pawn. Now, what I did not see was once the queen attacked the pawn, I defend the pawn, the rook comes over to attack my queen, I move out of the way, he'll be able to play the queen to d7 and get his queen back out of there, and I won't have control of the d file. So I did not like that at all. I also, when I went into this variation, I thought, okay, if the trapping the queen doesn't work, I might be able to build up an attack against the king's position. What I decided on was to leave the queen dangling on the center of the board and take control of the d file. I thought that that would give me an excellent chance to win. Of course, he's getting his queen out of there. But now he cannot move. Well, he could move the rooks to that diagonal, but it's my move. Oops, maybe that, okay, I had to do that to defend that pawn. Now I wonder if I could have given him that additional pawn. Went down to, I'm going to have to look at that, went down to d2 with my rook. Give him that pawn, I get a pawn, and I might have control over that 7th rank, which would be tremendous. Now this is a key move. I should have went rook to d3. If he takes off, I get a pawn on the 6th rank in compensation for the pawn that I sacrificed. That would give me an excellent chance to win. But I didn't. I saw where I could triple up the queen and both the rooks, and I probably should have spent more time analyzing. I thought that that was an excellent move. Brings his rook down, and here is where I made my biggest mistake of all. I thought that that was a good move. There's probably something a lot better. What I missed was he's a pawn up, and now he's pinned my queen. And I said, oh man, my total control over D file did not work. But I still have an excellent chance to force a draw all the way down to the end game. But it's not going to be that simple. I'm attacking this pawn. I knew he would counter with the attack of my pawn. And right here, the computer says it's pretty much a drawn position. What I need to do right now, I did consider it. I just was headed towards time trouble and rushed my decision. Rook to d1, check. The king has to move over in corner. The rook can put a threat on f2. And the idea is that capturing the b pawn, b2 pawn for the b6 pawn is not really even exchange because white is left with connected pass pawns. So if I could instead take off the f2 pawn and just let white's 3 pawns trip over each other. That's what I should have done. That's not what I did. I thought this would be good. Probably made that move early too. I should have brought the king, which I did consider, brought the king up the board with the pawns and not just leave them dangling by themselves. Right here again, I have an opportunity to bring the king up, but more importantly, again, the computer says with proper play, it should still be a draw. I had not considered g1 because I thought that that would be good for black regardless. Black is still pretty much solid. And right here is where I made my biggest mistake at. Should have just played the king up the board. Because right now he cannot save that b3 pawn anyway. Even if he tries to move it up. Should have just kept the king away from that pawn and made him use his rook to capture the pawn. But I caught it straight out, and from here the game is pretty much over. I do have a slight chance. But I got to play that king up right now. I got to play in the f6 to keep his king from crossing over. That is an important basic principle, but I didn't do it because I didn't want to allow his rook to get behind my king, which doesn't matter as long as his king stays out. Yeah, the game is over now. Right here, another big mistake. I should have went ahead, got in front of his most advanced pawn, then see if he can figure how to force me out. The idea is just go ahead and exchange off pawns, exchange my 2 pawns for hopefully his 2 pass pawns, and maybe can draw that rook pawn. But it's pretty bad when all you can hope for is a draw. By going to e7, I pretty much threw away the game. And just made matters worse, letting his king get down the board with his pawn. That's what I needed to do. I needed to come down the board with my pawns. And so from here, it's all over.